Alrighty, so in this video we're going to create our media model with migrations and factories. So real quick, let's open our terminal. Let's open a new one. Down here we can simply say PHP artisan make model media with migration factory and seeder. Click enter. Alright, so now we have all of this created and our table is created right here. So we can open our media table, this one. Let's add a few fields here. So it will be table morphs mediable. Now this, it will just create a mediable type and a mediable ID field so that we can add all our videos and pictures in one table. The table can say string URL, the table enum, the name of the enum is called the mime, and we expect image or video. Alright, I think that's it for the media table. Next, let's now go to the media model. So here type media, this one. In here we can say protected guarded, just put an empty array. We can say function, you can say mediable. Make sure you type this correct, which must be the same as in the field here, the name. Mediable, return type, here you can say morph to. Here you can say return this morph to. Alright, that's it for this table. And now, last but not the least, let's open our media factory. So here you can say media factory. Here we're going to first add some fields that we expect. URL, copy this, say the mime. Here we can say mediable ID. This is going to be post factory because we're only adding one table. The post table is going to be a rule or a post. And then the mediable type, here as a polymorphic, the rule, you have to say something like, you have to add a function closure here. It's going to receive attributes. It must be an array. Here it's going to return the posts. Find, you can say attributes, here mediable ID, get morph class. Now after adding that, we have to create these two variables here. So by default, let's just say it's a URL, say get URL. We're going to create this function shortly. You can say post by default. Again here, I'm going to say the meme. We also create a helper function just to separate our code and make our environment look cleaner. You can say get the meme type. You can pass this URL from here. So now let's go ahead and create these two helper functions. So firstly, outside the definition method, let's say function get URL. Now this, as we added on top, is going to receive a parameter for a string. So here we can say type is going to be, by default, it's going to be a post. Alright, the return type, we can just say string. Now for this URL, what we're going to do here is that we're going to use some dummy data. Alright, because we don't want to, just for the factory, we're just going to use some links we're going to get from the internet shortly. So for this, let's first create a switch type, because here it can either be a post or a reel. So here we can just say switch the variable. We can get this type here from the top. Here, if type is post, let's create an array URLs. So we're gonna get some values from the internet, and then here we can just return, say this faker random element from the URLs. Alright, and then here we can just repeat this down here. If the type is a reel, then we're going to return videos only from this thing. So let's go ahead and get some random elements on the internet. So here you can just search for public test videos GitHub, and hopefully you land on this first link here. Click there. Here this just provides some random testing videos that we can use. Just copy any random links, it doesn't matter how many. We can also do it down here. Let's just get another one. Alright, so again, we're gonna have to mix between videos and pictures. So here, let's search Unsplash. Go to Unsplash to get some random images we can use for testing. So here, just pick any random image. For example, this one. Copy the image address. Make sure you copy the image address, not the address link. Paste it inside the post, because we want to differentiate between reels and posts. For our course, we're gonna make reels have videos only at the moment. Copy image address, paste it inside, comma here, post. All right, let's just get one more video. All right, I think that's it for this function. We can just collapse it right there. Let's add another function now, or rather a method. Here we can say function get meme. This is gonna receive a URL. Now this is just a custom method, okay? We're just doing this because we're using these links which has, for example, here the GT videos bucket and the Unsplash. So it is very important that you pick exactly from Unsplash or this links here. You pick the links from either this public repository and Unsplash, because we're going to create a function based on these URLs. So down here, I'm going to say, here, let's say if string, let's get a string helper. If string contains URL, this is just going to search. If the URL contains this, let's pick this, because the common thing between these common storage Google APIs is also this one, the GT videos bucket. So if it's a GT videos bucket, then obviously it's gonna be here return video. Else, if you can say if the string contains, here we can pick this. What else do we have? Unsplash.com. This one, images unsplash.com. Then I'm gonna return as an image. All right, awesome. Now we've created this. Let me just format the document. Here, return type, make it a string. Cool. I mean, if everything is working fine, now the next step we have to do is, if it's a reel, we want to add videos, and if it's a post, we want to add posts. Because here, if you check in our post factory, here we're calling a post this chained method or a reel. So let's create these chained methods inside our post, inside our media factory as the last step. So here, just create this. I'll just type it fast now. Your function reel. Your return type will be a factory. In here, we're gonna just do this process like we did here. Just copy this one, meme and reel, paste it there. Here, let's say return this. We're gonna change the state. The state to receive function array attributes. So here we can open bracket there. So here, make sure that you don't put a $sign in front of the array. Here, let's say use URL and the meme. So we can pass these values inside this function. Now in here, we can just return an array. In here, I'm gonna say meme and the URL, the one we passed. So this state, it just helps us to override the values after you create this thing, after you create this model. In order to override the values, we can just use these methods we can chain here. All right, in here, since this is a reel, make sure here you add reel when getting the URL. And then down here, you can say post. And here, let's say post. All right, so after doing that, we can now try to run our database seeder, and hopefully it works fine if there's no error. Now let's go back to our post factory. Let's uncomment this, uncomment that. Here, the media, make sure you import it there, models media, so it can be shown here at the top since we created it now. After doing that, let's also go to our post model and uncomment this. All right, now let's go to our database seeder. In here, we're simply going to do, let's call the post factory. Yes, let's create 20. In the create, we're just going to override one value saying type is rel. Here, make sure it's create right here. Make sure you type it correctly. If you go to the post factory in here, after creating, we're going to check if the type is real. I'm going to create a media with a real, which is going to chain this method here in the media factory, this real. Then the real, it will simply get a URL, get the meme, yeah, and then it will override the values, these two values, which are also put in our definition originally right here. So that's how the flow works. So if everything is correct, if now we go back here, let's first run PHP artisan migrate, because I don't think we actually migrated our table. Alright, so our post and media table have been created. Now let's run our seeder. So here type PHP artisan db seed. It's actually finished. So if it worked, right now just to check really quick, we can just go back. Let's go to our database. Let's just refresh the database. Oh, awesome, we have our post table here. Voila, you see, now we have our post table with some dummy data, which is for now the type, everything is real, if you can see here. Now I don't know which database you're using. For me, I'm using this table plus. Maybe you're using PHP my admin, so you can check there. But here you can see the post type is real, and we have 20 posts just as we added in our database seeder in here, 20 rows. And now if I go and copy this here, add type to posts, here I can say let's just run the random here between 10 and 40. Then if we go back and run the migration again, so and run the seeder again, here type seed, and then we go back, let's refresh our database. You see we have more posts, which are now here type is post and real. And if you check here the URL, if you go to the media, yes, now in the media here you see we have Unsplash and common storage and this. So that's it for this video. We have successfully added our dummy data. In our next video, we're now going to show this data in our home page. So see you in the next video.